Hello everyone, I'm Namrata Arora and welcome back to another video that we've done for you. So in this video, what we're going to talk about are the top 5 small cap funds. So all of us cherish a good meal, right? And if we look at a typical Indian meal, it consists of things like a roti, sabzi, dal and rice. Now these are the main parts of our meal which really provide us all the nutrition which are good for our health. But apart from these main items, we also have certain side items like the pickle or the papad or the chutney. Now these are the items that add excitement to our food. They enhance the taste of our food. But come to look at it, they're not necessarily very healthy, right? These side items, because they're not very healthy, should be eaten in moderation so that we can balance out the taste versus the health and the nutrition. From this analogy, we can take certain learnings to manage our investment portfolio as well. So if you look at our investment portfolio, large caps, flexi caps, multi caps, now these are the categories that provide us good risk return ratio. They are the main parts of our portfolio. They are relatively low in terms of risk, which is why the return generated by them is also on the lower side. What adds excitement to an investor's portfolio are categories like small caps. And especially during the bull run, small caps have the potential to outperform large and mid caps by a big margin. So if you look at the data on the screen, you will see the performance of the small cap index versus the other two indices during a bull run. Now, as you can see in the year 2021, small caps outperformed the large cap index by almost 3 times. And there are certain small cap funds which have given returns better than the small cap index. So basically, small cap as a category acts as a booster to enhance the overall returns in the portfolio. So now let's look at which are the top 5 small cap funds based on the last 5 years performance, which is from May 2017 till May 2022. And the returns that we have calculated are for the direct option growth plan. So based on the last 5-year returns, the top 5 funds are Axis Small Cap Fund, Kotak Small Cap Fund, Nippon India Small Cap Fund, ICICI Prudential Small Cap Fund, and HDFC Small Cap Fund. So the top 5 small cap funds are basically dominated by the big boys of the AMC industry. And one interesting fact to note is that all these funds are relatively large sized funds based on their AUM. So now let's understand a little bit about each of these funds. Now the data that you see apart from the returns is taken from the fact sheet of April 2022, and the returns are calculated as of May 2022. So let's start with Axis Small Cap Fund. So Axis Small Cap Fund is one of the largest small cap funds, and this fund has consistently outperformed its benchmark, which is Nifty Small Cap 250 Total Return Index, consistently over across different timelines like 1 year, 3 year, 5 year, or even since inception performance. Especially if you look at the 3 year and the 5 year performance, this fund's outperformance has been beyond 10% of CAGR. And this fund is holding about 20% of its net assets in cash. So if you look at some of the numbers, the fund's 1 year return is 15.57%, 5 year returns is about 20.03%, the fund size or the AUM is 9,261 crores, the expense ratio under the direct option is 0.46%, and the fund was started, or the inception date is 29th of November 2013. Next, if we talk about Kotak Small Cap Fund. So Kotak Small Cap Fund is one of those funds which has the lowest risk amongst all the small cap funds, and it is one of the top performers amongst the risk adjusted returns. If you look at some of the numbers, the 1 year return for this fund is 14.72%, 5 year returns is 17.46%. The fund size or the AUM is 7,385 crores. The expense ratio under the direct option is 0.49%. And the inception date is 24th Feb 2005. Now let's talk about Nippon Small Cap Fund. So Nippon Small Cap Fund is the largest small cap fund which is available based on the AUM. And this fund has been consistently outperforming its benchmark across different timelines. If you look at the since inception returns of the fund, which is close to 20.41%, versus the benchmark returns in the same time period, which is about 11.33%. If you look at the numbers, The 1-year return of this fund is 16.73%. The 5-year returns is 17.45%. The fund size or the AUM is about 19,768 crores. The expense ratio under the direct option is 1.02%, and the inception date is 16 September 2010. Now let's look at ICICI Prudential Small Cap Fund. So this fund is holding close to 14% of its net assets in cash, and this fund has a well diversified portfolio with about 52 stocks. The volatility of the fund is relatively higher compared to its peer group average. So if you look at the numbers, the 1-year returns of this fund is 18.31%. The 5-year returns is about 14.83%. The fund size or the AUM is 3,620 crores. The expense ratio under the direct option is 0.63%. And the inception date is 18th October 2007. And lastly, let's talk about HDFC Small Cap Fund. So this is the second largest fund in terms of AUM in the small cap category. The volatility of the fund is relatively higher compared to its peer group average. If you look at the numbers, the 1-year return of this fund is 9.01%. The 5-year return is about 14.23%. The fund size or the AUM is 12,955 crores. The expense ratio under the direct option is 0.78%. And the inception date is 3rd April 2008. So this was about the top 5 small cap funds in the market. I hope you've liked this video. Of course, if you've liked it, hit the like button, share it with everyone, and of course, subscribe to the Grow Mutual Fund channel. If there's any specific topic that you want us to cover, please mention it in the comment section. And of course, please do not take any of these funds as our recommendation. Thank you so much for watching.
Investment in securities market are subject to market risks. Read all the related documents carefully before investing. Please read the risk disclosure documents carefully before investing in equity shares, derivatives, mutual fund, and or other instruments traded on the stock exchanges.